Hello everyone! Today I will tell you about a film where in the future every man who does not have a girlfriend is sent to a special hotel and helped to gain self-confidence. And it's called The Lobster.
Can we not do this today? It's awful.
I know, but I'm afraid we have to do it.
An unknown woman is driving along the road, but suddenly stops. She gets out of the car and approaches the donkeys to fire a couple of shots from the pistol. At this time, David talks about life. He has a lot of problems at work, and his wife decided to leave him. After talking with his ex-wife, a couple of men approach him and take him into a white car. A few hours later, they reach the hotel. A woman asks a lot of questions related to his personal life and his preferences in women. David doesn't understand why they need to know this, after which he is given his new clothes and taken to his personal room. The view from the window is very beautiful, except that below there are people with guns, and opposite them lie people who could not find their mate. A new day is coming. The hotel manager comes into David's room. She explains that David must find a girlfriend while staying at this hotel. He has 45 days to do this. If he fails, he will be turned into an animal. This news upsets David, but even if he fails the task, he will wish to turn into a lobster. The woman congratulates the guy for such an interesting choice of animal. It turns out there are a lot of dogs in their world, due to the fact that people like to choose ordinary animals. His dog's name is Bob, and until a couple of years ago, he was David's brother. Before leaving, the maid puts on a special belt with a lock, and his main hand is chained behind his back. In this form, he is forced to move around the hotel. The local restaurant is divided into two zones. One is for people who have a significant other, and the other is for single people. Robert and John want to meet David. John also has one arm immobilized. Most likely, John also recently settled in this hotel. After breakfast, all guests gather in the main hall. Each newcomer is obliged to tell about himself and his preferences, while their possible girlfriends are watching them. In the evening, ballroom dancing begins. David asks one of the women to dance, and she quickly agrees, but everything is ruined by a bloody nose that stains David's shirt. John also found a partner to dance with, but everything is interrupted by the sound of a siren. Everyone runs to the armory and takes weapons. Since a new hunt has begun, all the hotel guests are sitting on the bus waiting for an order. The main goal, to find in the forest a whole camp of people who never found a mate, who instead of turning into an animal, fled into the forest. For each capture, hotel guests receive 1 additional day of hotel stay. Hearing about such a gift, all the people joyfully run into the forest and catch everyone they can find. As night approaches, the body count begins. David was never able to catch the fugitives, which is why he does not get an extra day. The new day begins with the standard procedure, where the maids must guide David on the right path. The hotel provides punishment for people who break the rule. They must place the main hand in the toaster, and after breakfast, everyone will have a special show. That night, a new hunt awaited all the guests. One of the girls who couldn't find a guy tries to start a dialogue with David. However, he shows in every possible way that he is not interested in their conversation. It turns out that this woman's time is almost over, which is why she's trying very hard to find a boyfriend. The next day, John says he sees Robert and David's attitude. John is not going to turn into an animal like these two want. Because of this, he heads to the pool and notices a woman who has constant increased intracranial pressure. John wants to maximize their chances of meeting each other and bumps his nose to make his nose bleed. Surprisingly, everything works out for him, and the woman is ready to give him a chance. And in the evening, they are announced as a new couple. For each new couple, there is a gift, a special hotel room, which they will receive for exactly 2 weeks, after which they will receive a yacht, also for 2 weeks. David spends every day completely alone. One day, a woman approached him who had a few hours left. David again did not want to start a relationship, and then the woman turned into a pony. And then David realized that he would eventually become a lobster and was ready to change everything. He comes to the sports complex. There is a woman sitting there who everyone considers heartless. The conversation moves to spa treatments. David tries in every possible way to start a conversation, but the woman prefers to just remain silent and drink her cocktail. Suddenly, she choked on an olive. David is not going to help her, which was completely correct. Thus, the girl wanted to test David and find out if he really does not experience emotions like her. This evening, they are announced as a new couple, and now the maid no longer comes to David's room since he has a lover. In the morning, she did a new check. It turns out she killed David's brother, but he replies that he doesn't care about that. But when he saw everything with his own eyes, emotions begin to take over. The woman realizes that he was lying to her. For lying, he must receive punishment, transformation into an animal until the end of his sentence. David is not ready to end his human life and hits the woman, after which he tries to escape. The maid who always came to his room decides to help David. She distracts the woman, and David puts her to sleep. All that remains is to get rid of all the evidence. The maid had no right to help David, and so that she would not be suspected of betrayal, he knocks out the woman, after which David takes the body of his now ex-girlfriend in order to turn her into an animal. David can no longer live in this hotel and runs away into the forest, where he very quickly finds other escaped people and joins their community. They have a strict set of rules. The most important of them, everyone who is here has no right to get close to other singles, and anyone who breaks the rules should receive a special punishment. And you can't even imagine what. Sometime later, Robert finds David. He has 2 days left before turning into an animal. He really needs a loner. David tries to convince him that what Robert is doing is wrong, but Robert doesn't want to listen to him, and then another loner comes to the rescue. At this time, the same maid who helped David meets with the leader of the singles and gives her the necessary things. It turns out that all this time she was at one with the loners. After the hunt, some of the loners put on suits and head to the city. This means they will have to pretend that they are husband and wife. The head notices that David enjoys communication with another woman. Upon returning to the forest, David comes even closer to breaking the rule. The day of preparation for the attack on the hotel begins. David volunteers to go on the yacht because he wants to warn John. He adds that John's nose is fine, and he is deceiving this woman. Then John sends David away. At the same time, the head of the hotel is forced to kill his wife. The gun turns out to be unloaded, and now the wife will think about who she married. Upon returning to the forest, everyone starts dancing, and David and his new girlfriend begin to develop a language that only they will know. The next time they go out into the city, the leader clearly makes it clear that they are crossing the line. They have to inspect their things. The woman had a notebook with her dreams. As punishment, the head takes the woman to the clinic and takes away her sight. The girl told this news to David. He couldn't stand it and caught the leader and puts him in a grave next to the dogs. After which, he takes his girlfriend and takes her to the city where they can start a new life. At this stage, the film ends. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your comments. See you very soon. Bye.